right, guys. So I have with me an Evo Lite Plus Autel. It's very frickin' cold and windy. I really don't enjoy doing these because usually it's really crappy when it's really windy. Right now the winds are gusting to 50 miles an hour, and I think, let me see, I use UAV Forecast, so if you guys aren't familiar with that app, definitely check it out. But UAV Forecast is saying 24 mile an hour winds with 45 mile an hour gusts, but for sure they're gusting more than that at times. So I figure give this guy a test and see, and to kind of talk. It's so cold. And the temperature, just so you guys are aware, it's 40 degrees. So basically it feels like zero out. I have long underwear on. I got my little A gloves on that I can still operate my iPhone and displays. So these A gloves are really good for 10 bucks. But regardless, just so you're aware, when you're flying in high winds, you gotta always be a little bit more ultra conscious, because the drone's not gonna behave as well and as efficiently. So you wanna be aware of your different modes, because you don't wanna be trying to get back in a really high gusty wind day in a cine mode, or in the mode, actually, what is the mode? I forgot. I think in the Autel, let me get into the app. I think in Autel we got ludicrous mode, which is essentially the sport mode. So ludicrous mode is definitely a mode you're gonna wanna be familiar with, because if you do wanna break the winds, you wanna go into ludicrous mode, and basically that's gonna give you your most speed. The Lite Plus series drone, so you're aware, is rated for class 7. That's 32 to 38 miles an hour. So really, this shouldn't be an issue today. The problem is the gusts. The gusts are pretty hardcore and definitely not super fun, especially when you got cold air whipping on your face. So as you see, I got a screen recording going. I got ludicrous mode in the top upper left. That's our quickest mode. So that's gonna be the mode we wanna know we wanna switch into if we're having a hard time or difficulty getting back to our home point, for example. So you definitely wanna utilize your flight modes, because they are important when you're flying on windy days. Don't just think you should be in one mode. You use these things strategically based on what you're trying to accomplish. So say, for example, I touched that, it's smooth. That's the mode I was thinking of. So smooth is comparable to a cine mode on a DJI drone, and smooth is not what you're gonna wanna be utilizing most likely, even for cinematic footage, I bet, on a day that's super windy. You probably would want to, it says to calibrate the drone, probably use standard, which is like the normal mode. But let me calibrate this guy really quickly and see if it works. Hold on one second. Whew, it is not fun doing these videos because my nose is running and it's cold. We're gonna do the weird drone dance, calibrate, let's see if this thing works well. Boom. And then one more. Should be good. There we go. Calibrate successful. So you could feel, maybe you can't tell because noise cancellation, but it's pretty darn gusty right now. So for me, right now I got the drone on the ground. I would probably want to launch and hold my drone personally than have a gust blow it over. I would rather know that I'm giving it enough power to get up in the air. But let's go ahead and get this guy in my hands. Whew. I'm gonna unfold the props. Maybe we can get the props to spin. Sometimes you can get them to spin. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna pull in on the sticks. It's saying gimbal self-checking. This drone and the Nano and Lite series drones are a little tricky for this gimbal self-check and all the little self-checks that it does. I still don't completely understand all of that. Okay, now it says safe to fly. So I can go ahead and take off from the ground. I'm not sure if you can see it, but we'll get it up. And there we go. So right now what I would do, I'm going to turn off obstacle avoidance to get rid of the beeping. Let me check something. Okay. So we can see and observe the drone and what it's doing, right? So you don't want to necessarily just take off unless you really are maybe in Hawaii and you got to get a shot or something and you just don't care and you're going to chance them. But really you should take your time, observe the drone, make sure everything's kind of where you want it to be, and know that, look, this is the drone chattering with these winds, and you want to be conscious of that. And it's pretty amazing if you see how stable the gimbal is. So you can see the picture on the screen. Look at the drone and what it's doing, and look at how stable that gimbal is. So pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and fly a little bit. I think it's DC Rainmaker guy. He always says we're going to do a high wind test and over water. Like that really makes that much more craziness. But I actually enjoy flying over water. I think it's more relaxing, and I think it's less of a chance of hitting a tree or something. But he does a really good job with his channel. So, hey DC, I don't know what his name is, I forget. But we're going to go ahead and fly. So let's go ahead and throw it into auto mode, since we really don't care too much about what we're doing other than flying and seeing how it behaves with the winds. But let me go, actually, I'm going to put it in, this is what I don't like about this app. I don't like how, let me put it in cloudy mode. No, I'll put it in sunny mode. It's a little too warm. And let me change some of these settings. It's like you got to toggle each one, I think, in order for it to get off of auto. It's really weird. I still don't completely get that. So I'm watching the drone. I don't want to be 1/8,000th of a second. Maybe having the variable aperture is really nice too. Whew, it is windy and cold. So you can see, or maybe you can't see, but you can see in the screen recording what the drone's doing. I'm going to go ahead and change the shutter speed to 50th of a second, adjust the f-stop accordingly to get the right exposure. Let me see what I need. Probably something like that. Let me go ahead and check my histogram. I still don't know why the histogram always gets disabled. So really, I think needs to do an update on this app desperately, but they don't seem to be doing that, so whatever. All good. So let's go into the f-stop and change our aperture and maybe open it up. No, that's too much. You don't want to be blowing out the water, for an example. So you can see the histogram, kind of tough to see. Okay, you can move it around. And we're gonna go and try to get up in the air. We'll get some altitude. And with the winds, even though it's a very windy day and a very gusty day, these drones can really handle. Of course, fly within your own comfort zone. Don't go and do anything that makes you uncomfortable, because that isn't good. But they really can handle pretty darn well. I would fly this probably even in 50-mile-an-hour winds with higher gusts, just to do and try. And I've done it in Hawaii, but again, every single thing that gets a little bit more elevated comes with more chance, especially if it's above the rating that I'll suggest. So be mindful of that, and just, you know, again, risk over reward. So let's go higher a little bit and just see what it does. We're gonna go to 200 feet to get some actual altitude. And maybe we can go ahead in smooth mode, which is like our cine mode, and just try to get a little movement and see how the drone behaves. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing that it's this windy out and you can get really smooth footage like this, and it almost doesn't even seem like it's windy out, other than the fact I'm freezing my ass off. So I mean, pretty amazing, right? But okay, right now we're getting some movement and we're getting some footage. Not of anything that I really care about, but regardless, we're capable of getting some nice movements despite the wind. But the thing we want to be mindful of is our battery. We want to know that our battery is basically enough to get back in case we have some resistance with the winds. And say, let's just try to get back as a test. We're going to go ahead, because this isn't about getting footage. So I'm flying in smooth mode. And it seems like it's coming back to me without too much effort. So that's good. I'm physically watching the drone. I can see me. I'll put the crosshair right on me. Boom. Make sure I'm still screen recording. I am. But again, it's going slow, but it's working. And if I don't have to panic or anything, because I have 77% battery, who really cares? But what I would want to do is put it at least in standard mode to get back to me, and you can see how much quicker and more responsive it is by putting it just in that mode. And if I put it in ludicrous mode, it's going to even go that much quicker. So here I am. Boom. So now we got the drone. Hello, drone. Say hello to the camera. So this is in ludicrous mode, and it's pretty responsive, meaning snappy. So it definitely responds pretty darn well. And we'll take off in ludicrous mode, and you can see it kind of cruises. So ludicrous mode is definitely going to be the mode you want to be in to get the most efficient flight back if you're struggling in a high wind day. So really be mindful of that and know that these modes play an important role in your cinematic flying, and you're getting from point A to B efficiently and breaking winds for this example. So let's go ahead and get out of here. You can see the drone. It's fighting a little bit, but at the same time, as I said, when we were up in the air, really pretty effortless to get good footage. So let's go ahead and go to 400 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and get into ludicrous mode and go 400 feet, and I'm over water for extra high risk. So 400 feet, and we'll push our max legal altitude right now, and we'll see how the winds are. There we go. I'm exactly at 400 feet. I'll confirm out of there. Aircraft is unstable due to strong wind. Please return home. So all of these things we want to be paying attention to. It doesn't mean, oh my God, we got to fly home and we can't fly anymore. It just means the winds are strong and the warning is accurate because it is a windy day, and to be mindful of it and conscious of it. So let's go ahead and see. We'll turn the drone around. It's a little, let me see. I'm going to put it in auto mode and see what happens. And let's go ahead and try to put it into smooth mode and get a little movement. I'm just going to do a little teeny orbit. It's moving pretty darn slowly up there, which can be good for cinematic stuff. So you don't want these big fast movements all the time for a nice cinematic shot. But yeah, look at that. Look how stable that is for, I'll move the gimbal down a little bit. I don't know if I have this thing completely dialed. I am selling this drone, so probably will be gone soon. I got an Evo 2 Pro 6K version 2 that's going to basically replace this guy and fill its shoes. So we can see that's that, right? So again, what we're really wanting to focus on is getting this thing back to us and making sure we can fly safely. Getting footage is one thing, of course, but we kind of showed already we can get footage even on this really nasty, windy day. Unfortunately, we don't have anything really amazing to get footage of, but let's go ahead and get into standard mode, and I can see where I'm at. I'm basically over in this direction. Let me go into smooth mode really quickly and see how it flies. So I'm at 400 feet, 401, 400, there we go. And you can see how slow it's going, which is good for certain things, but watch. Put it in the ludicrous mode, and now watch what happens. It's kind of significant as far as being that much more fast. Actually, I'm going the wrong direction. No, wait, where am I? Okay, there I am. So I'm not that far away, I'm right here. So let me just hightail back. Let me get further back. Hold on. It kind of helps to get a little gauge so you can see the lines moving and how quickly they're moving. And now let me put it in the let me put it in the smooth mode and go the other way. So this is full stick. And look what's happening. So it's moving and it's flying and it's making progress, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be the same as ludicrous mode going just that much quicker. And of course, we know that ludicrous mode will be giving it more power. So regardless of what it looks like, ludicrous mode is going to be your best bet for getting back safely in a high wind environment. So let me get this guy back. And it's descending pretty well. Look at 250, 200. I could see the drone. Come on. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. So we have the drone back safely, and we got 55% battery, so we're still very good. And yeah, it does pretty darn well. So the Evo Lite and the Lite Plus series does really exceptionally decent on a windy day. Again, it's rated class 7, which is again 32 to 38 miles an hour winds. And right now, I bet you it's gusting 40 to 45 pretty regularly, maybe 50 at times. And of course, we don't know what it is at 400 feet and to different altitudes. So you can see it can handle, and it does a pretty darn good job. And that's kind of it. I mean, there's really not too much to go over other than the fact that these drones can all handle pretty decently, and I think better than most will think, because if it's a really windy day and someone walks by, for example, they're really surprised that a drone can fly at all and handle on a day like this that's noticeably gusty and noticeably windy. So they can, and they do remarkably well, as I said. And if you see, let me get this guy, make sure it's focusing. It's kind of dancing around. But you can see, does all right. You know, here, that's what it's doing. So of course, it's going to be a little different, but you want to watch it, in my opinion, and kind of observe before you take off and fly, and just be more mindful of everything. And really, that's it, guys. Hope this helps. Hope this gives you a little confidence to fly. Let me get the drone out of here. I hope this gives you a little bit more confidence to fly in a windy situation, because if there is a job or if there is a shot you need, it can handle, and it does pretty darn well. Just be mindful of the battery and where it's at. Be mindful of the flight modes and which ones to use for different kinds of things. If you're getting the footage, try smooth or normal or standard, whatever it is, on the Atort drones, and try cine and normal on the DJI drones, and use the sport mode and use the ludicrous mode, the fastest modes, to basically get from point A to point B, especially if you're having difficulty breaking the winds, because it really can get scary if you're in a situation where it's just not responding and it's not breaking the winds. I had that happen to me in Chicago on a job when I had to fly a high-rise, and I was using my Evo 2 Pro 6K version 1, and the thing literally, once I got to the top of the building, just started to have a mind of its own and cruise towards the lake, where I physically had to run and chase the drone to get closer to it. And it was really, I thought, you know, a flyaway kind of situation, but fortunately I was able to get it back. But kind of a not fun situation. So just be mindful and be cautious, and safe flying, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye. Subscribe.